Hello, I'm Brianna with Techno Siren, and I'm here to walk all of you wonderful handmade sellers through setting up self-hosted WordPress. The reason you may want to do this is needing to expand beyond the capabilities of services like Etsy, Shopify, wanting to control the fees that you're paying out every month. That's also nice. Or if your vision for your website is beyond the tools that you're currently using. WordPress pretty much gives you the flexibility to do anything you can imagine. So I'm presenting today by using a combination of slides and live WordPress installation. I thought that might be an easier way for all of us to take a look at WordPress in action. And so you're gonna see on the left over here my notes to myself in the slides, but these slides will be available as a PDF, and I'll have a summary of all of the links that I go over as well, so that you can easily see where to go to download WordPress, find plugins, look for hosting, all that good stuff. So that's me, I'm Brianna. I have been building websites since 1996. That makes this my 20th year as a web developer. But I'm also an artist and I'm a maker. And to me, the exciting thing about the web is the capability for incorporating all types of media into your artwork. So that's how I got started, and that's what gets me excited about this medium, and sharing my favorite tools with other people so that you can kind of have the fun of making something yourself that you can share with people online. WordPress is content management software, and it's open source, which means that it's free and it's supported by a huge contingent of developers who are working constantly around the clock to improve it. I'm one of those developers. I've been using WordPress since 2005, and today I'll be going over how to set up your own self-hosted WordPress, which you might hear referred to as WordPress.org. WordPress.com is a service that's provided by Automatic, and it's sort of like Blogger or other hosted blogging services. It's not what we want. It doesn't give you the ability to add your own themes or add your own plugins. So we're going to do it ourselves. Why WordPress? And I kind of covered that in my introduction, but WordPress gives you tools to create websites. You can have a shop, a blog, an e-course, or even all three, and it's free to use, though you might want to pay for premium themes and plugins to get better support or more features. It gives you a platform to really easily share your content. Distributing to social media is just so much easier if your website is on WordPress. You can publish your blog posts as tweets. You can automatically publish to your Facebook page. It's very powerful. It includes scheduling, which you might already be paying for with something like Hootsuite. WordPress will let you schedule blog posts to be published and then have those scheduled posts distribute out to the social networks. So that's really powerful. And you can do that with free plugins and a basic WordPress installation. And it also powers 23% of the web. So to get started, you're going to need to choose a web host. And there are a lot of recommendations on Flourish, on the web at large. In my own experience, I used to run a web host, and I do still manage my own servers. So for my own sites, I use a service called DigitalOcean and use that to spin up a new virtual server whenever I'm doing something new. But for my clients and for my friends, I recommend SiteGround, which is $4 a month. It's super robust. They have great service. I am not affiliated with them, and I do not get a commission for these recommendations. And that's important because I have seen some underhanded tactics before, not in Flourish, in other areas of the web, where people who have an investment and get a kickback are recommending services that are not secure. For example, I get hired pretty frequently to fix websites that are hosted on Bluehost because they've been hacked. So I'm recommending to you the 3 hosts that haven't been hacked in my experience, that I have not had to fix websites on. Flywheel is great. It's $10 a month, and their service is really good, and it's easy to get started. So it's very WordPress oriented, and the interface is really beautiful when you're walking through the purchasing and sign up. So it's a nice site to use. And then WP Engine is the big guns. When your site has outgrown shared hosting and needs to kind of move up to the next level, WP Engine is managed WordPress hosting, and they're really excellent. I've used them for some very large sites, and their service is really top-notch. They're also very expensive, so you get what you pay for. But that's basically also a great rundown of, you can stick with a SiteGround hosted website for quite a while. If something you do really takes off and goes viral, I have had nothing but good experiences with them increasing traffic limits and making sure that their servers are up to the task. Flywheel is really going to help walk you through it. You might want to pay a little extra to make it a little easier on yourself if you're not very tech savvy or comfortable, getting started building your own website. Flywheel is a good choice. Now, taking control of your website. I titled this slide in this section this way because the thing that I have seen the most is people getting frustrated when they're just getting started with WordPress because they've been told how easy it is, and it doesn't turn out really to be easy at all. And there's a simple reason for that. WordPress lets you do it, and when you're just getting started, you don't want to be hit with all of those options at once. You want to be able to stay focused, and you want exactly where to go to do what it is you want to do. So being able to control the environment and really understand the dashboard is the most important first step towards making WordPress easy for you. So the fundamentals are this: WordPress is extended by plugins. Plugins give you extra functionality on top of what WordPress comes with, and WordPress comes with a lot. And themes decide how your site looks. And I think for a lot of us, that's the most important part. We want a beautiful website. And so the very first thing we do is we dive in and we look through thousands of themes on Theme Forest or the WordPress repository. And that's a big deal, that's overwhelming. You really don't want to put yourself out in the middle of the ocean with no life vest. You kind of want to know where you're going beforehand, and that's what I hope this talk is going to do for you. So there are a few free plugins I recommend for every new WordPress site, and there are some themes that give you the creative control you're looking for to make your website a little more like you. You can always tag me in Flourish, and I am happy to help. If I ask you to PM me, that's probably because I want a login so that I can take a look at what you're doing, and don't hesitate to ask. That's what me and Julie DeLong and the other experts are here for. And WPBeginner.com is a great resource for learning the basics of WordPress and getting comfortable. So once you've purchased hosting and once you've installed WordPress, and if you use any of the hosts that I recommended, installation will be done for you, and their installation process is secure. Then you'll have a website that looks like this. Sorry about the slide artifacts. If I make this full screen, then I can't easily tab over to a live WordPress installation, so we'll just pretend that's not there. This is a default installation WordPress with the 2016 theme. So that's kind of pretty, kind of plain, kind of pretty, but you haven't added your mark to this yet. This is out of the box. And there are a lot of free themes available for WordPress. So when you get started, you're not really going to be looking at that. That's your front end. That's your theme. That's what your users are going to see. That's what you're presenting to the world. You're going to want to start behind the scenes in your administration panel. So go to whatever your domain is, .com/WP wp-admin, and then log in with the information that was provided by your web host via email. If you want to install WordPress on your own via FTP, that's awesome. If you know what FTP is, if you can move the files and do your thing, it's still easy. It's just a little bit outside of the scope of this talk. I want to get you from point A to point Z as quickly as possible. So when you've successfully logged in, you'll be viewing your dashboard. And it'll look a little bit like this. This is a screenshot of one of my development versions of WordPress that I use for reviewing themes. And to be honest with you, you're gonna breeze by this screen every time you log into WordPress. After you get started, you're gonna know what it is you wanna do, and you're gonna go over here and you're gonna add a post, or you're going to go to Appearance and update your theme, or you're gonna go to your plugins and you're gonna add a new plugin. So the goal is to be familiar with this menu on the left, because this is really where the power is. This is where you control your entire site. There are a lot of ways of customizing this to make it more useful, but to be honest with you, most people ignore it and they go here to do what it is they want to do. So, getting started with plugins. Anything you want to do with your website, there is a plugin for it. It might not be a recent plugin. It might not be compatible with the latest WordPress. It might not be supported. Somebody might have written it in an afternoon, thrown it up on the repo, and not looked at it. So when you go to the WordPress repository to look at plugins, and I've included a link here, pay attention to the reviews, but more importantly, pay attention to the support requests. There will be a little link out to the support forums. They'll tell you if the developer is offering support, if they're reputable, and if the plugin is up to date with the latest coding standards. Now, there are a lot of agencies and larger companies that are posting free plugins on the repo, and they are excellent about offering support. There are a lot of one-person developers who've been coding for WordPress for a long time who are excellent about offering support. So eventually, you'll be able to discern if something's going to be useful or if it's going to cause a problem. Plugins can break your site. The thing to know is that deactivating the plugin or deleting it via FTP will let things reset and bring your site back up. So if you add something new and everything goes blank, don't panic. There's a fix for that. So you can either click this link to look at the repo, or you can go to plugins in your admin. Let's click back up here. That's this menu item. You can click here, and then there will be a button that says Add New. This is where we're gonna switch tabs real quick. So I'm clicking Plugins, and I'm gonna go up to Add New. And from here, I can go over here and I can search plugins, and say I want to add like social media icons. So I'll just type what I'm looking for and try and be specific, because you're going to have a lot of options to look at. And again, you want to make it as easy as possible on yourself to sift through this, because you can get lost looking through themes, looking through plugins, trying to decide if one is better than another. They try to make it easy on you. These plugins they're well reviewed, and they tell you how many people are using them. There's 60,000 plus active installs for this media icon bar. That's important. It's compatible with your version of WordPress. Sorry about all the selecting. These are the things you want to look at. It was last updated 4 weeks ago. WordPress gives you the tools to assess whether a plugin is going to work on your site or not. Use those tools. Now, themes are an area where you might want to spend a little money to get extra support and some more functionality. Or you might have a recommendation from a friend who's using a theme. Just like with plugins, you want to have some discernment in what you select. If you are using WooCommerce, which is a free e-commerce plugin for WordPress that has been acquired by Automatic, which is the company that essentially created WordPress. So to say they're well supported is an understatement. They are the number one go-to for e-commerce, and there's good reason. I have created some very large websites using WooCommerce. They are a really robust solution. So if you're using WooCommerce, search for themes that are WooCommerce ready. You want to know that they're supporting WooCommerce out of the box and that your shopping experience is ready to go, that you don't have to do any extra work to make it a beautiful shopping experience. Anytime you search for themes in the WordPress repository, make sure they are responsive. That means they work well on mobile. You want to have a good mobile experience for your visitors, and the reason for that is because a significant portion of the buying public are buying from their smartphones. So from your you can either find free themes by going to the WordPress theme repository, which I've included a link for, or from your WordPress admin, go to Appearance over here and click Add New. And then it's going to start by showing you some featured themes. This is 2016. It's the default theme that comes with WordPress. And forgive me for the slow image loading. I'm out in the country and I'm on really, really low bandwidth. So you want to use the feature filter when you're looking through themes, because this is the easiest way of saying, hey, responsive is non-negotiable for me. And there are a lot of other features that you can filter by. If you're doing something seasonal, if you're wanting to change the custom header, this is a default option that a lot of themes are going to have already. So it would be unusual to find one that doesn't include it. So yeah, it even lets you choose by color. So I've chosen responsive and WooCommerce ready. Oh, there we go. So here are some options that let you get started. I'm going to click back over to the themes that I already have installed, because for this particular site, I have already done the curation process, and it took a while. It was a couple nights of sitting in front of Downton Abbey looking through things. I have my own theme framework. I do design and develop my own themes. I wanted to know, what the experience is when you're installing something new. And for the WordPress core team, I review themes that are going into the repo. And so this helps me stay on top of who the good developers are and what the fun stuff is. So we're looking at the themes that I have selected for this coloring book site. Let's visit it real quick. So it has a loader. It's got a large hero area. I don't have any posts published. I did set up my widgets, which we'll go over in just a minute. So, okay, and it's responsive. If I click over here to get an idea of what it looks like on a phone, there we go. It works on mobile. That's really important to me. So this theme has it out of the box. Now for Flourish members, for people who are not familiar with WordPress, if you want a drag and drop editor and you want some powerful design tools, I recommend this theme. There is a free version and there is a premium version. It's by the Theme Foundry, and they've been around for a long time, since 2008 at least. They do beautiful work, and this theme gives you a lot of tools for designing beautiful pages, but it also doesn't mess with your content. There are some themes out there like Divi or Aveda that are hugely popular, but when you try to switch away from them, you discover that they've edited all of your posts to include short codes, which make a lot of work for you, because then you have to go in and re-edit all of your content. So let's take a look at posts. These are posts that I've created to allow people to download coloring book pages. They could be blog posts. They could be anything. They could be products, even if I wanted. I don't have an e-commerce plugin installed yet, but I will. So they're set to draft because I have them on a schedule so that each one's available for a week. And this is the post editor screen. And it's pretty cluttered because I've already installed some plugins and things that I know I'm going to use, including Yoast SEO, which I definitely recommend everyone install to ensure that they've got powerful tools for knowing if their pages are using the keywords that they want, knowing if their copy is readable, if their page titles are usable. It's a powerful tool. It even lets you see what's happening on, there you go, on social media. So if I want to change what's getting shared to Facebook from this page, I can upload a different image than the featured image. I can add a different title. I can add a different description. Otherwise, it's going to take that information from this title, this content area where I've added a link in my text, and this featured image. Same goes for Twitter. I can customize it. So that's a lot to digest all at once, and I apologize. I wanted to go over this all very quickly, and then I will be available for answering questions in the threads. So I didn't want to throw a 2-hour video at you, even though I could talk about this stuff all day. So when you have a fresh install of WordPress, you get 2 plugins. You get Akismet, which does some spam control. There are some better plugins out there for that, so I don't have it activated. And then there's Hello Dolly, which I also have deactivated, which is just a fun little Hello World plugin that shows plugin developers how to create their own plugins, essentially. I have WooCommerce, I have Yoast, and I've added all of them from the plugin repo over here. So when I search WooCommerce, it'll tell me I have it installed with that button, but it will also let you look at the page that explains what the plugin is, what it does, how to install it. Here's the installation instructions, what the screenshots look like. And WooCommerce is a bit of a beast, and it's going to probably be where you spend the majority of your time if you're setting up an online shop. That's okay. Once you have some mastery of WooCommerce, your powers are unlimited. It includes an FAQ. It gives you an idea of the ratings. I pay attention to the 1-star ratings. Sometimes it's people who are frustrated and didn't have a lot of support in getting set up. Sometimes there's another reason for it. There are more than 1 million active installations. So if 100 people gave it 1 star, that doesn't worry me. It tells you the compatibility up to the latest version. It was last updated 3 days ago, which is fantastic. You always want to see that they're on top of things that are changing in WordPress. And I have the latest version installed, so I don't need to worry about it. But it also shows you some of the additional add-ons that you can get. And I'm scrolling through this a little bit quickly because pretty much everything you want to do, you can do with default WordPress, or I'm sorry, default WooCommerce. The colors add-on, yeah, this is what happens when you activate WooCommerce. It gives you a walkthrough on setting up your page, adding your settings, how to set up a shipping and tax table, and doing your payments. So it tells me that my store needs a few essential pages and that they're going to be created automatically if they don't already exist, which is fantastic. So once created, these pages can be managed from your admin dashboard on the Pages screen. Then you can control which pages are shown on your website via Appearance menus. All of that works for me. I'm not in Alabama, but I am in Missouri. I do want to use US dollars, pounds, and inches If I will be charging sales tax or shipping physical goods, then you can configure the basic options below. This is optional and can be changed later via WooCommerce settings tax and WooCommerce settings shipping. Yes, I will be shipping physical goods. You can choose to set a flat rate per order and a flat rate per item, or you can move on and set up a shipping table. Most of the time you're going to enter your prices exclusive of sales tax and then have the sales tax calculated. It's not going to be typical for Flourish sellers, but if you're operating in multiple states, WooCommerce lets you do that as well. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, and it isn't unusual for some of us living in Kansas City, Missouri to be working in Kansas City, Kansas, since we're right on the border. And so I have actually purchased shipping tables for Kansas and shipping tables for Missouri for 15 bucks a pop, quite a deal, in order to make sure that I was compliant and because I didn't want to have to spend hours setting up those tables myself. 15 bucks was worth it. WooCommerce can accept both online and offline payments. Additional payment methods can be installed later and managed from the checkout settings screen. I use PayPal. You can add Stripe for your own merchant account through your bank. The options really are limitless. WooCommerce's API is open, so if you're using some other payment method, there's an add-on or a plugin that will let you use it with WooCommerce. I'm on a little farm and I sell at our farmer's market, and I also have a little website that tells my local customers what I have available any given week. And for that, I use Square so that I can take credit card payments at the farmer's market. So being able to integrate the two or let people come to my online store and prepay for plants or vegetables that they're going to pick up at Saturday's market is huge. It makes it really easy. So your store is ready. That means WooCommerce has set up the pages it needs and it's added some of the settings that it just asked you. Now it's going to ask you to create your first product. This is just like the post editor because it is the post editor with a few extra options. So, and WooCommerce is going to give you these tool tips. So let's pretend like, let's say we're selling a coloring book. And then it's going to tell me to add a product description. I'm not great with copy. That's Caitlin's area, and she's amazing. So when I do actually sell a coloring book from this site, I will be hitting her up. Yoast updates at the same time and tells you, hey, this is what it's going to look at on Google when somebody searches. And hey, tell me what you want your focus keyword to be for this page. And I will tell you if your page is doing good on SEO. And Yoast is giving me a lot of hand slaps on SEO, which is fine. So I'm going to tab out of that and see if it gives me everywhere. Over here, we have product categories. I'm not going to add a new category because I only have one product. We have tags, which you most likely won't need to use, but you can. Unlike Etsy, you're not part of a community when you're on your own website. So you can kind of choose how people search for your products. Tags can be hugely helpful or mostly unused. It depends on your audience. This is a custom plugin that you won't have installed, so you can ignore it. We'll skip down past Yoast. This is what WooCommerce adds. This is it right here. This is the screen. This is what you're going to be banging your head against, or take your time, walk through it all, and in between working through your product options, come up here and it'll save your draft automatically, but publish it and preview it so that you know what your product looks like and what you're doing. Don't be afraid to play with this. I'm going to tell you something that my stepdad told me when I was 6 years old and got my first computer. You can't break it. You can't actually break it. If you do something and your whole website goes blank, There's a reason for that. You may not know the reason, and it might make you panic, but a lot of times it's a really quick and simple fix. Something as simple as deleting a plugin or changing permissions on something. Simple for me, obviously, because I'm a developer. Not so simple when you don't have server access, but it's also really unlikely that you're going to do that. And from here, you pretty much can't. So play with it. Look through all of these options. Yes, I want to enable stock management. I've only got 10 coloring books. This is a simple product. It doesn't have variants. My coloring book doesn't have a color or a size. It's just one thing. So that makes it a lot easier. For shipping, it's a single item. It's very lightweight. It's 8 by 11 inches and probably a 1/4 of an inch thick. And I haven't set up my shipping classes yet, so it doesn't matter. It's not virtual and it's not downloadable, though I have other downloadable products already added as posts. So I can now convert those to WooCommerce products and make them downloadable so that when people pay, they're given a link. I can link other products to this one so that they're related and we can present them on the product page. I can add attributes. And then here, I can choose where it shows up in the shop menu. I can let people add reviews. I can add notes to people who are purchasing, like different conditions. And then I can add this short description that'll be a part of the tabs on the product page. And there you go. We've installed WordPress. We've chosen themes. We've added plugins. We've installed WooCommerce. We've taken a look. We've added a product. This is huge for 40 minutes. So good job, guys. Once you get WordPress installed, the next thing you're going to want to do is go through the appearance menu, customize your theme. Widgets are what let you add small snippets to your sidebar, for example. There's a sidebar on the side, so I can add a list of my archives. I can add a calendar. WooCommerce is going to let me display the user's cart in the sidebar if I want. So that's, again, that's one of the things that kind of makes WordPress a little overwhelming, is that there's several places to control the design of my site. Lucky for me, WordPress puts them all in this appearance menu. So what you're going to be looking at the most are the customizer, this widget area, and menus. Once you set up your menus to work the way you want, you're just going to be rolling. So that is it for today. I'm going to pause this and move on to answering questions in the thread. So thank you all for coming. Please don't hesitate to ask me anything, and I look forward to hearing from you. And now I need to find my window so I can turn this off. Thanks, guys.